3, 2, 1. We are live. Hey, guys, you know who it is. It is your favorite HBCU running the show during the holiday week. I am here with the legendary Johnnie Cole for HBCU Coaches Corner. We have a really, really good show set up for you guys tonight. I'm super excited. We have the head coach, the new head coach from Savannah State University, Coach Johnnie Cole. Once again, those great connections that he has. Coach, how you doing tonight?
Man, I'm good, Coach. Always, man. You know, this Tuesday night is the night to reach out to HBCU folks as well as just football folks. You know, we got people from all over, man. And, you know, I want to always continue to thank our fans and people who support us. We had 2 million followers last year. We're expecting to double that this year, man. And, you know, as you guys know, we're kind of moving around a little bit. We took the show to the Celebrity Bowl and, you know, we've done our things there, but tonight, man, we got a special guest, defensive extraordinaire. This kid started from what my man say. Started from the bottom. Now I'm here.
There he is.
4-time national championship guy, defensive coordinator, last year's MEAC champ in South Carolina State, defensive coordinator at A&T or Fayetteville State. You know, this guy's an extraordinary defensive guy. I just keep on saying his defenses are always ranked. He's a Morehouse graduate, cum laude at Morehouse. HBCU man. You know how I feel about my HBCU man. And I'm just so proud and glad that we can get him on the show and introduce him to our fans and to the HBCU space that, you know, we know Savannah State got you. I'm giving him away already, Coach. You know how, you know, guys come on this show and then we move to the 1A, and you know how I feel about HBCU career coaches. This is one, Mr. Head Football Coach of Savannah State, Thomas Howard.
So, Coach, I'm going to bring him up on stage. And you can see that I have a little bit of problem with my camera, but I will be right back. But let me bring it right on stage.
All right.
Coach Howard, you there?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for having me on the show. Shoot, I'm excited to be on here with you. I'm getting blessed to be on with a legend. And then for you to introduce me the way that you did. Come on now. Huh?
I see a strike.
Everybody all right? Can you hear me?
Coach, can you hear us?
Yes.
I can hear you now.
Okay, there you go, Coach. There you go. You got Coach on. He was just speaking back to you, Coach Howard. Go ahead, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Oh, y'all can hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I just can't see him.
You can't see him?
Okay,
I'm here.
Try.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
Boy, that man, you look so young, man. I remember they used to say that about me. But man, you head coach, you looking good. Man, we just glad you to come on the show and you know, the show the HBCU space who you're in so many times. Guys like you sneak through. You know, we interviewed Sean Gibbs last year or year before last, was it, Coach? Yeah, it was year before last. And were you on that staff with Coach Gibbs?
I was definitely with Coach Gibbs at A&T. Got a chance to work with Coach Gibbs for 7 years. He left, taking the job at Fort Valley before the 22 season. And so he left and went there. But, yeah, definitely worked with Coach Gibbs. And we had a lot of fun together, winning a lot of championships.
Yeah, you know, they tickle, you know, I tickle folks about, you know, I look for championship coaches, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
And you definitely a championship coach. That means you know how it feels, you know, the work that needs to be put in, you know how it looks, you know, because if you ain't never experienced that experience, and it ain't always, you know, fruits and you know, apples. It ain't always feel good about winning championships. You know, as you know, and I know, I've been on championship staffs that we really didn't care for each other, but we coached our butt off. I've been on staff that we did care about each other and won championships. So, you know, with your experience and now you're being a head football coach, You've been the head football coach for a couple of days now. How you feeling?
Oh man, I feel great. I think I'm blessed, truly blessed to get this opportunity. A lot of people talk about how, a lot of times the guys like myself that have come up through the HBCU ranks and now getting an opportunity to be a head coach, truly blessed. And so, I've definitely had a journey like a lot of us have, and so glad to get here and to get to do it back in my home state of Georgia. So that is another thing that I'm excited about. And I can't say it without my support system, my family that has been phenomenal for me throughout this time. And then the coaches that I've worked with, you talked about it with championship staffs, man. I've been blessed to work with some championship coaches and, the likes of Rod Broadway and Sam Washington and Buddy Pugh, Connell Maynard, as well as Richard Hayes, just working with some guys and kind of being connected to some other legendary coaches with Bill Hayes that I got a lot of time with this year, who would be in practice and hanging out with us. So I've truly been blessed to get to this point and excited to move forward as we get into what we're doing there at Savannah State and trying to get them back to the top of the SIAC.
Man, you just named 4 or 5 top of the line when you talk about football. I'm gonna stop using HBCU. When you talk about football, Coach Hayes statue, Broadway championship at North Carolina Central, Grambling, A&T. Sam Washington, hell, I've been competing against Sam for, as a defense coordinator, man, we go back and forth, and he's a national championship coach. Chennis Berry, man, you've done it all, Coach. And how you feel? I know you're ecstatic. You got that first head job. You know what I mean? Do you got your plan of action of how you want to do it? And as you talk about how each one of those coaches influence you.
Oh man, I can start with Coach Broadway. Coach Broadway is probably one of the most detail-oriented coaches that I've been around. Very much about fundamentals and techniques, and he did a great job of making sure that everybody on that staff was always prepared and ready for change as it happened. And so took a lot from him. I was a sponge in there just listening and kind of came into the staff, the young guy on the staff that was a new face, and learned so much just from how he handled and worked with the staff and how he prepared us for every week, making sure it was bigger than just, you think about all the big things, but it was down to the minute, small things. And that kind of carried over even as Coach Washington took over as the head coach, and he continued with a lot of those things. And I think with Coach Wash, I learned so much defensively just with how to break teams down, how to in-game adjustments. And those are things that were big. We made a lot of adjustments in games and some big games that we ended up, winning that we weren't supposed to, but we knew we were prepared to get it done while I was there at A&T. And then to get the opportunity to go to South Carolina State. My parents both graduated from South Carolina State. So for me, I got a lot of family that graduated from there. So to get a chance to work with Coach Pugh, phenomenal. And just to see his interaction. And the one thing that a lot of people don't know about Coach Pugh, he did a phenomenal job in the community. The people of Orangeburg love Coach Pugh. And that is definitely something to go along with the phenomenal coach that he is. And he's still leading as the athletic director there. It was a lot of things that he gave and allowed me to do and to continue to get better as a football coach, and then I get a chance to, and I threw this name out there, Connell Maynard, who has been around and has done a lot of good things as a coach. He allowed me to do my thing, and he's got a little swag to it as he does it. And so we had a lot of fun there and getting a chance to just interact with him. And then to go to Coach Hayes here recently, I think Coach Richard Hayes has been a phenomenal coach for a long time that a lot of people don't realize. He's won a whole lot of games at Fayetteville State and has done it by his way, quietly just going to work and doing it, in a blue collar way. And so I think this year for me getting in with him, that was big. And then the fact to be able to get, Coach Bill Hayes to come in, who as a young coach, I played for one of Coach Hayes' disciples in college that gave me my first coaching job in Sherman Simmons. And, just to get the opportunity to now hear it from the horse's mouth, all those jingle jangles and things like that I had to run, I know where it came from now. And so working with Coach Maynard and Coach Hayes, Richard Hayes, I got a chance to hear it, and I knew them all because I grew up that way, in coaching. And so I've been blessed, man. This will be season 24 for me, which sounds crazy. But, I was blessed enough with Coach Simmons hiring me right out of college as I finished up at Morehouse. And so now going on this path and going all over the place. And, it's kind of crazy that now I get a chance to come back home and help lead my own program. So I'm really, really excited about that.
When I hear you talk, of course, you've crossed my path as well.
Yes, sir.
You've been to Findlay, up in Findlay, Ohio.
That's right. That's right.
Me and Coach Simmons worked together. That was the first, when you first got the job, that was the first call he made, was to make sure, Coach, that you get this cat on the show. And of course, we've done our homework. Steve Campbell does our stats and make sure that we know what we're talking about. Mm-hmm. Man, I had to jump on it right now because this, I hate to, I shouldn't say it. You ain't even coached the game yet, but I see the future. I see your future, man, and because I'm all about career HBCU coaches getting their just due. You're going to Savannah State. You're back home. I guess you've had a couple of things or a couple of times to look at it. I think you are the 28th coach, if I'm not mistaken.
28th coach, yes, sir.
Yeah, meaning they've had a lot of guys through that. I know one thing about Savannah, the city and the town is wonderful.
Yes, yes.
What are some of the things that you know about Savannah State and some of the things that you know that you're going to have to change a little bit?
I know traditionally, I just go back to growing up in the state of Georgia. And when I was coming out of high school, Savannah State was one of the top teams in the SIAC. They were big. They were fast. They had guys going to the NFL. And so it was a very proud program. And like now talking to a lot of the alums and a lot of guys that I grew up with that ended up going to Savannah State and them talking about their pride and how excited they are. I think the big thing that I have to do a great job with those alums is welcome those guys back so that now they feel at home and they can come in and, be proud of their program to start just being able to be around. It's crazy. Maybe a couple years ago when I was down in Orangeburg, it's a nice young lady that I have that I'm actually supposed to be getting married. I'm getting married in April. And this young lady.
Well, don't blow it, Coach. Don't blow it.
Look, oh, man, because she watches. She going to talk bad to me now. But no, we would actually go and we would get away because it's about 2 hours from Orangeburg. And our first getaway was in Savannah. And so we went down and enjoyed the city. The riverfront is beautiful down there. As you go around and you drive through historic Savannah, you see all the trees and all of those things that hang over. So it is a phenomenal city. And it's its own, it's the coast of Georgia, and there's a lot of pride that's out there on the coast. And so to be able to be there and go around and see it just from the outside, I was like, man, this is a great place to be. And then driving back, I'm like, man, it would be crazy to get a chance to be the head football coach at Savannah State University, where I'm right here nestled in the great state of Georgia. You got South Carolina that's right here at the line, right as you get into Savannah, and you got Florida that's right there. And all of those things are within, an hour and some 30 minutes to the school and to the city of Savannah. So I'm overly excited because with my connections in coaching in the state of Georgia, in the state of South Carolina, and even in Florida, and then some of those surrounding states being in Alabama and places like that, I'm like, hey, we can get some really good football players in here. South Georgia is known for being big. I'm a North Georgia guy. I'm an Atlanta guy. But I know when you go down and you play those South Georgia high schools, they're going to be big, athletic, and physical. And so that's what I'm looking to make sure that when my team comes out to play, that's what we look like. We look like a team that's from down there at the bottom, down on the coast. I've done a little research, and we used to go to Jekyll Island, which is a little further south on the coast of Georgia when I was younger. And, that's a lot of people don't know that's where Jim Brown is from. And so there's some different people, brown people that's down there that they're built a little differently. And so, I know I got to go in and go up under some rocks and find some of those good football players. That's a Coach Broadway thing. You better look up under them rocks and find those guys when you go down there. And so, that is definitely what I intend to do, turning over all those rocks and finding those good football players and bringing them back into Savannah State and bringing that pride back. I think that is a big thing. And I know that's what all the alums want. I think the president, Dr. Worrell, is phenomenal. He is coming in. He got in April, and he's coming in and making some big time changes and trying to add things to the university. And so, shoot, I'm like, hey, I'm excited because I'm coming in at the right time. And so, now I have the dubious task of making sure that I put it on the field on Saturdays. So, I'm excited at that challenge.
Yeah, when I read your resume, man, I'm saying, man, Savannah State don't hit a home run with you.
Thank you.
Last time they really, really won was when Coach Davis was there, and another guy named Basil played quarterback there back in them days, man. And I see them days coming back with your resume. And a lot of jobs popped open, and I don't know if you were looking for some. And you chose Savannah State, because I did ask you, have you applied for other ones? You said, no, I want this one because I want to go back home. What else besides Savannah, that being back at home, that made you choose Savannah?
I just think that it's a gold mine, and nobody knows, nobody believed it because of what's happened in the last couple of years. And I'm just like, hey, I think I'm the person that can come in and shake some bushes and get that gold to come back out. And so I think that's the big thing that I'm tasked with, and I'm excited with it. I think there's a lot of advantages you have being in that location, and shoot, I'm excited to take advantage of it. I think that there's some great football that's played in that area. I also think that with the fact that I have big time connections in the state, getting a lot of those kids to come back home that have left and gone to other places, and now with this crazy transfer portal, you got to be aware. And I think the advantage I have is a lot of those young men, I recruited them out of high school. And so now when they come back, it's not me just bringing in a random guy that I saw on film. I actually have a connection with them. And so I think that's a big part. A lot of the calls I've been getting from the high school coaches in that area and in the state of Georgia have been kids that I recruited, when I was at A&T or when I was at South Carolina State coming back, or even at Fayetteville State coming back, Alabama A&M coming back to Atlanta recruiting kids. And so, I'm excited. Come on home, help us win some championships and championships. And that's all that's what I expect. We got to put the job in as coaches to get the young men in and prepare them. Let's go have some fun.
Yeah. This being your first head coaching job, you look back, have you had a chance to just sit back in that I remember when I got my first job, and I just kind of sat in the chair, man, and just kind of sucked it in. And I know your phone rang off the hook and everybody want to come and work for you and congratulate you and all that. Have you had time to sit back in your chair, man, and think about it? And what would be, I would say, 2 things that you think you need to get to right quick?
I did have a little bit of time to do it because I'm going to tell you, when I found out that when they offered me the position, I actually was in a staff meeting. So when it happened, I had to go in my office and be excited to myself. I closed the door, be excited to myself, and then get my face right and go back in the staff meeting and have a seat. And so I did that. But after we finished up that day and I went in the car, I had that moment and, overly excitement, joy. This has been a long time coming. And, I'm a prayerful man. So knowing that he has a plan for us, and that plan was for me to be at Savannah State. And so I'm overly grateful to that. And so I definitely had that moment. So I know exactly what you mean. And then to your next question, I think 2 big things that I have to do. The first thing is staff wise. I got to get gentlemen that are coming in that are going to be with the same mindset as me. My background is education. So I was going to teach elementary school and coach a little high school football when I came out, and just got blessed with the opportunity to coach college football. And so I want teachers, guys that are going to teach great fundamentals, that are going to be detail oriented and make sure that our young men are prepared every week when we go out on the field. That is our job as coaches. And so that is what I'm looking for with my coaching staff. And I think that is big. And then other than that, the next thing you got to have, you better go get some players. And so we have to do a phenomenal job. And a lot of it's going to be me by myself, which is fine. I've been doing this for a long time. And it's funny because, me and my brother, we get together, and I was on the video game. I ain't played the video games. I just did the recruiting. So that is what I'm looking to do. And now I do it with my son. When we play, it's like, hey, I'll do all the recruiting and all that stuff. You play the games. So that is what I know we have to do a great job of going out and getting young men and bringing the right guys into our program that fit what we're doing offensively, defensively, and on special teams.
Well, you can tell that, man, you're a great guy, because damn it, if when I went back to that meeting after, I'd have started collecting my paperwork and say, hey man, look here, ain't no assistant coach no more. Bye, I'm going. I tell you a story I know with my brother, and of course this is about you, but he had got the job at Tennessee State. And we were doing a recruit weekend, and the coach said, well, hey, you need to go down and pick somebody up. He said, Coach, didn't I just tell you I'm a head coach? You better ask somebody else. Man, I'm out of here. He really got himself in and left the office, man. But
man.
It's a great feeling, man. And I'm going to turn you over to Bishop for a while, but we need more guys like you. Give Savannah State your all. I know you're going to be good. I know you're going to be great there. And I'm not done with you tonight. But it's good to know you, and it's good that our people to know you. And again, we're going to get in this to tonight about, man, we got greatness right here. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
And you're a Morehouse State graduate, which you're an HBCU man, but you're a football coach.
Yes,
you coach on both sides of the table. So I just wanted to make sure I got that out. But go ahead, my man Steve Campbell.
Coach, first of all, we appreciate you joining us tonight. But I'm gonna take it because I think there is something special, and I'm gonna set this up, and I'm gonna ask you a question. Now, you are a Morehouse man.
Absolutely, there's only one.
And I wanted to. They say the Morehouse man embodies leadership, intellectual excellence, integrity, and service, characterized by distinct confidence, strong brotherhood, and a commitment to uplifting their community and society. How of you being a Morehouse man, those traits that I just talked about, allowing you to be the type of coach that's going to be able to lead young men, and what you learned from Morehouse?
It's crazy because when you come into Morehouse, they call you a man of Morehouse. When you graduate, you're a Morehouse man. And a lot of times for young men that go to Morehouse College, you don't understand that until you finish. And it is the process. It is the brotherhood. It is the people that work on campus, and a lot of them that are Morehouse men themselves that prepare you for, hey, man, put your shirt and tie on and be prepared and ready to go. You have to lead. And it is a mentality that they give those young men and give you as a young man coming through, teaching you the way to do it. And so taking pride in a lot of those things that we do. And that's a big thing for us as Black males that we have to do a great job of. As men, we have to do a great job of teaching these young men how they should be conducting themselves so that they can lead their own household, because at some point that's going to happen. And those are the things that, now don't get me wrong. My dad is military. My mom is a teacher, and actually she was military as well. So I did get it at home. But when I got to Morehouse College, it was a lot of good brothers that were there. And so I think we all are on that same plane. A lot of those guys are the guys that called me and wore me out for other reasons too, because there was another opening that happened in Atlanta. And I was like, hey man, there's nothing I can do for you, man. I got my place.
Wow.
And, it was hard for a lot of people, but hey, you got to go where they want you and where they want you to be successful. And I think that's what happened. But all of those guys are my biggest supporters. Those teammates and those guys that not even just teammates, but guys that I went to school with that we got to interact with. And I think that is one of the unique things about that place, because you interact with everybody. So, whether it's Randall Woodfin, who's the mayor of Birmingham, Alabama, that graduated with me, whether it's Ike Keys, who played with me, that is, on Power. And we are still very close. And even to some of the guys that are athletic directors and coaches and leaders in Congress that went to school there, all those guys, and we had a great time. But when it came down to business time, we knew what it was and how we need to conduct ourselves. So I definitely would say I learned a lot there, and it helps me here because public speaking was a big thing. And so, it definitely prepared me for situations where I got to go out and speak. And a lot of times it would happen to me as a player where they'd be like, hey, we need somebody to go talk. Thomas, you got it. And just walk away. And I'm like, man, you guys leaving me. But it is something that we take a lot of pride in, and it was something that I definitely take that pride in representing where I'm from, and I do that a lot. Just like I'm from the south side of Atlanta, from Riverdale, and it wasn't cool in Riverdale when I was there, but it is now. So I always say that, and very proud of that. And so, excited for this opportunity as well.
Well, I'll tell you what's funny. I had a sports agency, and I actually met Isaac Keys. We tried to recruit him to our sports agency, so it's kind of funny. And I'm looking, I'm like, man, that's the brother. Yes, I told her I called my partner. I said, you remember that young brother from Morehouse we tried to recruit? He's on fire. So it just shows you how well-rounded Morehouse makes you all. But I want to talk now, Coach. I want to get to the coaching thing. Now, you are the coach now, and like you said, you already you're named the coach. Literally days, hours, and things like that. You say your phone is ringing. Now, from my understanding, the D2 works a little bit. You can start talking to players and signing players right now. Is that not correct?
Well, the next signing period is going to be coming up in February for me. That's going to be the big one. Yes, you can, but I want to give those young men a chance to get on campus and see the place. A lot of those guys that I talked to already, I touched base and let them know what was going on, and I was here. But I want them to get a chance to see it. And I think that's a big thing, and kind of see my vision and hear it out, even though they know me already, and some of the ones that will get to know me. So I want to do it the right way and make sure that everybody is on the same page. And I think that's big time. With this transfer portal, you want to make sure as you recruit these young men, they know exactly what's going on, and they can ask the questions and see everything, because I'm not trying to hide anything from you. I want you to know exactly what's going on where we are.
Now, Coach, I know you have a defensive background, but I always like, because I told you this earlier, I think it's very important. I'm a big proponent. I go a lot of places, and we have a lot of fathers, and again, mothers too. But we have, and you're going to understand this, Coach, being a Morehouse man and being in Georgia. We have a lot of fathers. They see Georgia, and they see Georgia Tech, and they see Miami, and they see Alabama, and they think that's the only place their son could go play football, when the best place might be at Savannah State. Tell people, these fathers, these parents, what your philosophy is, what type of players that you look for from the high school side, and even those that are saying, hey, you know what? I'm looking for another opportunity. Coach, I'm the type of player that I can play for you. What are you looking for there, Coach?
The biggest thing that I look for, of course, you want to make sure the academics and all of those things are in order. But the big thing for me is offensively and defensively, the position that you play, it fits what we do. And so we do a really good job, and we will do a really good job of recruiting young men, like I said, that fit the schemes that we're playing. And some guys can fit in any scheme, but I think it's a big thing when you want to keep your team and build your program. If you're taking guys that don't fit what you do, that makes it hard. And now I got to have that long conversation with their parents, and they're like, well, Coach, we thought this and da-da-da. And I don't want to put us in that situation or put them in that situation, because that's frustrating. So it is about going and identifying young men and doing a great job in the recruiting process, and then being upfront and honest with them when you get them at your place, so they know exactly what the expectations are, how you see them in your program, and where they can be successful. And I think that that's a big thing. That's something that, we talk about championships and winning those things on a regular basis. It starts with the young men you bring in and making sure that you got quality guys that fit what you do. And I think that is big. And then doing a great job of coaching it once they get there. So in recruiting, that is going to be a big part for me as I talk to my coaches, like, hey, don't just bring a guy in here because somebody said he's a 3-star guy and we got to take him. No, let's watch this guy. Let's evaluate what he's doing. And that's the same thing with transfers, because sometimes you can get in trouble with transfers where you just assume, oh, man, this guy went to such and such. And because he went there, oh, now he's a great player. And it's like, well, let's watch him. Has he been coached? Does he understand what's going on? And so now when he gets here, he can be successful. And I think that saves both of us headaches, him and you as a coach, where now it's like, hey, we got the right guy.
Yeah. Are your athletic director in the school, are they giving you the allotment of 36 scholarships, or how did that work? Or are they giving you the tools that you need to perform or do your job?
I think that they are doing a great job of working to improve everything. There has been some big time improvements in what's going on. And a lot of that I accredit to the athletic director as well as the president, because they want to make a change and they want to be successful. And so, some of that's going to come back on me. We want to continue to improve that. Well, Coach Howard, you got to win some football games. And so I understand that. So I think that they've extended some of that stuff and it's increased it. And so that's going to be big. Another thing for me is taking advantage of the resources that we have already with the Hope Scholarship in the state of Georgia, with young men that got over a 3.0, that helps to cover your tuition. And as well with the bordering states that we have where they're considered in-state. And so me being smart about that so that I can stretch our dollars as far as possible. And that's going to help because now the president and the athletic director, when they look back at it, they're like, hey, Coach Howard is doing a great job using our resources. So now as we give him more, we can see where the benefits are coming out. So it's something that I have to do as well.
Have you tried for head coaching jobs before, or this kind of your first time testing the waters?
I've looked at other head coaching opportunities and tried to get in, but this is the first time that it fit perfectly. And I think I felt that from the initial interviews going through the process and just my interaction with both the athletic director and president. And then once I met the rest of the people on campus, I think it was like, man, this is where I'm supposed to be. And I truly felt that way walking out of there. I tried not to be arrogant about it as I felt it, but I definitely did. And I think that they're excited. Everybody on campus, everybody that's reached out to me, from Savannah State, has been so excited and like, oh man, we're reading your stuff and we like what you do and it looks like it. And so I'm like, hey, I'm just as excited to be over here with you guys. So I think it's a great fit, and I'm ready to get in and change some things and get things going in the right direction.
Man, it sounds like that you got the right direction, and have you had a chance to meet with the players?
Not yet. When I was on campus, I got a chance to meet one young man, but they were actually finished with finals. And so a lot of the young men had already left campus. It's crazy. There's one young man on the team. I actually coached his dad when I first started coaching. And his dad, when I was at Allen University years ago, his dad is from they're from the same area in the Atlanta area as me, Clayton County. And so I coached his dad. And then when they shut down the program at Allen, his dad ended up going to Savannah State and graduating from Savannah State, playing football there. And so now the son is there. And so it's crazy. I was there and around when the son was born. So now I get to coach him too. I coach his dad. I'm going to coach him. So I'm excited about that, and meeting all the rest of the players. Just because there's a lot of guys on the team that I've already, I came across in the recruiting process that are there, and they've reached out to me like, hey, coach, man, you probably don't remember me. I'm like, yeah, I remember you. I know exactly who you are. So, I'm excited about that because there will be some guys on campus that I'm familiar with already.
All right, look, we don't have Rocky on the show, so I got to ask you some questions. I got to ask you something crazy.
Come on.
Why? Why not Morehouse State? Why Savannah State?
Well, I'm gonna say Morehouse College because it is a private. Morehouse College. But like I said, it wasn't the place that I was supposed to be at. And I know a lot of times you come out in the coaching world and you're like, oh man, I want to go back to my alma mater. I had that time early on, but as time has gone on, Savannah State is the place that is excited about Thomas Howard. And so Thomas Howard is overly excited about being at Savannah State. And so that is exactly what it was supposed to be. And like I said, years ago, I was like, hey, how great would it be for me to be the head football coach at Savannah State? And now I'm here. So that is something that I am overly excited about. And that was prayer. And that was just, like I said, it was something that I saw, and now I'm here. So, I'm ready to attack it and go have fun and win a whole lot of football games and make a lot of people happy in the Savannah State nation.
Hey, Coach, let me ask you a question. Have you been able to put together, and this might be a Coach Cole question, I might have stolen it from. See, I've been around Coach Cole, and if you can,
I was just going to say that, but go ahead.
Yeah, I stole it from him. Coach, no, you go ahead, Coach. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was going to ask him, have you been able to sit down and put together a staff, or where you are staff-wise, or,
I am. I've reached out to a lot of young men that I knew and that I know that are quality coaches. And so I will kind of finalize that stuff as I get on campus because I haven't even been on campus yet. So still, I'll get in there on January 5th and get rolling. But once I get on campus, myself and the athletic director have been talking pretty much every day. So I'm going to try to get that finalized as soon as possible. I am going to meet with the staff that's there and go from there. And so, I'm excited to get started and get those new guys in there that I'm going to bring in and, move forward from there, because I think that is a big part of it. So that's something that I want to get on as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Coach, I wanted to ask you, Savannah State finished 4-6 last year. Mm-hmm. What are the things that you can see right offhand that you feel that I feel really good about, just kind of looking from the outside, you know what I mean? I know you're in another conference over at Fayetteville State, but what do you see and say, okay, I think we have a building block here, and what part that you say, because of your talent, your knowledge, that, I can improve this side of, because one thing about this conference, this is a conference of champions. And what I mean, these coaches, these are high-level coaches. You're talking about coaches like Chennis Beard has been here. Now you just seen, Coach Quinn Gray, Sam Shade, guys like that. So what have you seen from, because again, I'm like you, Savannah State's a sleeping giant. You're talking about a great location, a great university. Like you say, the Hope Scholarship, you know how to work that. But what have you seen to say, what, I think we're good here, but here's the things I think we can bring in to make it, to get it to that championship level?
I think one of the things that I've seen just watching them from afar defensively, I'm excited because they do some really, really good things, and they got some good football players on defense. And so building that with my little, flair to it and, trying to continue to build on that. I think, offensively, there's some things that we got to do a great job of getting the right guys in place in certain places. And then the scheme that we have has to fit the young men. Get the young men that, get your athletes the ball. And, shoot, you ain't got to do a whole lot. Coach Cole, I know you know about that. You get your main guys the football and you get them in those situations. Yes, sir. Come on now. So I am a true believer of that. And even as a defensive coach, I know what good football looks like on offense as well. Another big thing for me is getting in with the special teams and seeing what's there. I'm a big special teams guy, and I think that, it's three ways you win football games, man. You got to stop the run, you got to protect the football, you got to win the kicking game. And so that is my recipe, and that is the thing that I'm going to hang my hat on every week. We have to do those things. And so those are the things we're going to focus on, getting it done and really getting after it.
My thing, Coach, was that I was an offensive guy, so I knew I could get in the end zone. You know what I mean? So my whole focus was, if I can give you a 2 cents, was focus on the defense, making sure personnel-wise they have who they have. You're a defensive expert. You've been successful, and I want to tell the audience, everywhere he's been. He's coached All-Americans. He's coached NFL players. Damn, you probably could put the defense up in your sleep, And when I did take over the Division II program, I actually didn't hire a coordinator because I didn't want to put nobody in that situation. Because you know how that is, being a defense coordinator, and now you got somebody over there calling your defense. You're gonna be over there.
Yeah.
Financial wise too. Instead of paying them offensive coordinator money, I'm gonna give you the title. So I don't know. That's my little 2 cents in, and to be able to spread your money and spread your coaches down there. That's just my little 2 cents. But I'm pretty sure you've been around enough that I hear you talking that you got everything taken care of.
Yeah, and the big thing for me is, as well, covering the lines, man. I think you win it up front. So having a quality coach as an offensive line coach and as a defensive line coach, that's huge. That's where it starts. You win and lose football games up there in the trenches. You're going to get good athletes. Shoot, where we are, there's so many good athletes that you can find some really good ones. Now, don't get me wrong. We're going to get a lot of them on offense because I understand exactly what you're saying. Hey, I can get us in the right spot and get us lined up and get us to make some tackles, and we can work all those things. But on offense, we have to do a great job of being able to control the line of scrimmage, control the ball. And shoot, when we want to speed it up. When we want to slow it down. And that's what, I want us to be able to do. So we got to get some guys to help us do that. But I think the coaching staff on offense is going to be phenomenal.
Yeah. I was just going to say something. Coach, I know you still in your infant stages of stepping in there, and you got to start raising money as well. And maybe we might need to bring you back in January because, our audience also donates money too. Mr. Campbell's over that. Why don't you take it from here? Coach, I stole that one from you, didn't I?
Yeah, and you did steal that, Coach. One thing about me, and people know, I'm always about the money. And the biggest thing is, it's a lot of talk, but you can always do more with money, and then you can talk a little bit louder. So one of the things, Coach, and I'm gonna send this. So here's what I will say to you when you go back to Morehouse and you play them. So all you got to do is you score 50 on them. Just make sure you give $50 back to them, and then they'll be okay with you. Okay.
I will say this, as a proud HBCU alum, I do donate to my school. So I do that as well. I've done it with other schools with season tickets and things like that to make sure that money is rolling through. And I think that's a big thing, working at other HBCUs and knowing how important it is. So I totally agree with you.
We want to donate money to your program.
So, Coach, do you have you guys have that set up where, and like I said, and again, I tell you what we can do, because I tell you what, let's start here. How can people, because what we're going to do, because Coach, I'll ask you this. Do you guys have like an athletic link that you guys have and things like that? And
let me get there so I can see. Yeah,
that's fine.
Yeah, let me get, because I can definitely get that information to you.
I do know you have Twitter, because I'm following you on Twitter. Are you active on Twitter? Do you use that as people communicate? Yes. So I tell you what, won't you tell people what your Twitter is and what Coach will do? He'll go back and and we want everybody to follow him on Twitter. We want all the parents, we want all the athletes to follow him, because Coach is looking for players. He's already told you the type of players he's looking for. And what Coach will do, he will post that link on Twitter. And then once we have another show, I will get the link. And like I said, I will promote that, because what we really want to make sure is that you start off right. Because like I say, the biggest thing is empowering you. And like I say, Coach, I think what we're really excited about, and I'm just saying, I've just met you, but just to see what kind of, and listen and think about it. I want to call you a young brother, but man, you talking about you've been coaching 24 years and coaching people's daddies, man.
Yeah, man. Shoot, been doing it a long time, and so
that's very impressive. That shows about what people have seen in you to get to this point. So one of the things, Coach, I want to turn this back around about Savannah State and the conference. What do you see? Again, we talked about things that you need to do. What do you think about joining this conference and the teams that are at the top? And again, Albany State's going to have a transition, a new coach, and things like that. What do you think about this? Is a really tough conference with a lot of good football teams, a lot of pride. What do you think about just joining the SIAC?
I'm excited. This will be my first time back in the SIAC since 2002 when I was playing, my last year playing. And so I know this conference very well. I'm a graduate of this conference with the coaches that are in the conference. Shoot, one of the coaches, the head coach at Allen, was one of my coaches when I was in college at Morehouse, Coach Pearl. I've coached against several of the coaches. I played against Coach James at Tuskegee when I was at Morehouse, and he was a quarterback. So I know the conference very well. Yes, it has changed, but I definitely am excited to get back in. Coach Watson at Fort Valley is actually one of my good friends. Got a chance to meet him. And shoot, he was my first call in the conference when I got the job, and just him giving me a call. And that was big time for me. I said, shoot, I'm gonna pick your brain, because he is the longest tenure coach now in the SIC in the state of Georgia. And he just got in there. So, I'm excited. I think that it is definitely a tough conference. The things that are happening up there at Kentucky State with Coach Felton, he's doing a phenomenal job. I had a chance to coach against him, and I've met him, and great coach, knows a lot of good things. And so I'm really excited to get back in the conference, go to some places that I haven't been to in a while, and get a chance to go and have some fun. And I'm excited.
Coaching in the SIC or as a player, and coaching in the CIAA, is there a difference? What would you say there's a difference of is the CIAA stronger defensively? Is the SIAC stronger offensively? What do you see the difference?
So you trying to get me in trouble right here, because them guys gonna say something to me. I'm gonna go back to when I was playing. When I was playing, the SIC, we played football. In the CIAA, they play basketball. I'm going to say it like that. Okay? Right now, I think that the CIAA, and coming out of that conference, there are some really, really good coaches in the CIAA that do a phenomenal job with adjustments and things like that. And I got a chance to see that firsthand. I still think that in the SIC, there's a group of phenomenal coaches that were in the SIC. And like you talked about, with guys like Coach Barry moving on, and guys like Coach Shea, Coach Quinn Gray, phenomenal coach. And, excited for him getting to go back home. So, there are some really good coaches, I think, in both conferences, which have made the conferences that much better. because I think the coaches are doing a phenomenal job, and the competition each and every week, man. Shoot, in the CIAA, it was a dogfight every week, and I watched the SIAC, and shoot, there's teams that win that you're like, man, they beat them, and it's like, yeah, you got to pack your lunch every week when you're coming to play. So I understand that. I know that's going to happen. I hope I answered your question, but I also can't get beat up because I'll probably get a call from Coach Hayes and some of those guys in the CIAA. And just like the guys in the SIAC go try to say something to me, and I'm like, hey, I know it's good football in both conferences. Really good.
Hey, look, Coach, I can't say nothing. Coach Frazier beat me 3 times in the SWAC.
Come on now.
3 times, man. He the only coach that beat me twice.
Wow.
He the only coach that beat me twice, Coach.
Wow.
But he beat me 3 times. So I know there's some great coaches over there in the CIAA. I had the opportunity to also call some games over there. But man, we excited to see you. Like I said, when you get back on campus, you got something else, Coach?
No, I'm good. Like I said, man, I just want to tell Coach. Well, I do have one thing, because Coach, before we do let you get out of here, and Coach Cole is going to fit, but I always like to do this. Like I said, you got a lot of parents that's watching. Give the parents your elevator pitch on why they should come to Savannah State.
Well, shoot, the first thing is we're building young men, and I want to build young men to be winners for life, not just on the football field, but winners for life. And so that is going to be a big thing, building the culture and building the confidence back in these young men that have been in the program and the new guys that come in with us this year. And shoot, these guys are going to get degrees and win championships. And I think that's the biggest thing, that we're going to keep it simple. And that's the expectation and the standard that we're going to have and set. And we know we got to do some work to get there, but let's go have fun doing it and getting it done.
Yeah. Man, it's been great. I'm excited about you. I see the energy. I see the energy in you. And I think Savannah State have chose the right man. I wish you well. You got my number, anything that I need, you need from me, some advice or whatever. I have talked with Tremaine Jackson today about some things that he was going through. So I'm always here. Man, you got some great guys. You got some mentors, man, shoot, that I take my hat out to. Coach Pugh, I just spent a little time with him. And Coach Broadway, man, you got some guys, Coach.
Did you see him at the Celebration Bowl? You saw him at the Celebration Bowl?
Yeah, I took pictures of all of them. And look, all of them got red jackets.
Yeah. The only one that didn't wear it, though, was Coach Broadway, because you see Coach Broadway look like a basketball player now. Yeah. And so, shoot, man, he's out there getting – I got to talk to him and his wife after the game, because I actually hung out at the game, so I got to see it and see them again. So it's always good when I get to get in with those guys.
Yeah, I talk with Trey a little bit in Washington, and but Coach, you got it going on. We wish you well, man. I know it's Christmas time. I thank you for coming. I know you got to get back to that fiance of yours and all that great stuff. So, man, I thank you. Like I said again, when you get yourself situated and you got that financial piece where we can. You got my number. Once you get it, just send it to us, and we'll get it on the show. Make sure people put some money in there. Thank you, man. Again, thank you for the blessing, for coming on, and we look forward to the success you're going to have down the road.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much for having me on the show. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You've been HBCU Coaches Corner.
There you go. And Coach, like I said, when you get that staff together, because we got some faithful alumni that want to hear about that staff. So we look forward, when you get everything together, like Coach said, to bring you back on, okay?
Definitely will.
All right. Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hey, guys, there you go. That is Thomas Howard, the new head football coach of Savannah State. Hey, man, those Tigers going to be roaring, Coach. Hey, man, it sounds like they got a good one.
Woo. Hey, look, somebody better pack their lunch pail, because one thing he do, Coach, he don't let you get in the end zone.
Hey, listen.
So that's where championships are started
at. I looked at those stats. When I'm a firm believer, like with you, Coach, you got to start in that defense. And when you get that defense, because like I said, you can figure out that offense. But if you, as you know, like I said, at my alma mater, the offense is catching up, but the defense never got it together, which caused a change at the top. So, I'm super excited to see this brother, man, and a brother from Morehouse. I know his Morehouse brothers are going to support him. And I'm going to say it and put that challenge out to those Morehouse men. Hey, man, you got a Morehouse brother down there, man. Send that man some money. Send that man some money. You know, kick a little bit to Morehouse, send a little bit down there to that athletics fund down there to help your brother out. Because, man, we want to see these great coaches have, like I say, the resources to be successful. That's, Coach, that's what we really,
but see,
really
the
want.
thing, too, you know, how I feel, you know, when we start talking about celebrity coaches, and then you got a guy here, Coach, that's been 24 years in the business, 5 national championships, have worked under some of the great coaches, man. And, you know, North Carolina A&T became North Carolina A&T and the largest black college in the country is because of those 5 damn national championship games. Now, they can say what they want. I remember having this talk with somebody last year, was an A&T grad. They got a great engineering program. They got a great school. And don't get me wrong. But your enrollment shot up when you won them 4 football national championships. Let's get that straight. So that's very important. But what's more important is we got kids, I shouldn't say kids, we got guys like him that's been up underneath the radar, Coach. 24 years, everywhere he been, he coached the best defense in the league where he was, nationally ranked. You know what I'm saying? And we just now really knowing that. I didn't know that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Personally, we got guys that's ready to take over some of these positions and make us strong and make us good, you know, make our football teams a good product on the football field.
Yeah, Coach, I just think that, you know, to your point, but this goes back to what we talked about, and I kind of, you know, been trying to beat this drum. There are opportunities for coaches like Coach Howard that were coordinators that are ready to be head coaches. They're ready to be head coaches. I understand, you know, everybody has a choice of what they think is best for their school. But I think, once again, I think when you look at an AD, like you said, a new AD that looked at the landscape and said, you know what, I identified this brother that's going to be able to lead this team to a conference championship. And you can see all the tools that he has, you know, the background, the pedigree, the coaching style, the friendliness to be able to relate to the kids, you know what I'm saying? And I like the fact, you know, and again, it blew my mind. He said, I coached his daddy and now I'm coaching his son. That is a big thing. That goes to trust, Coach. And you know that. You had that happen.
This what kills me about the non-career coach. Oh, man, he got to get a good staff around him. Well, a good head coach is going to put a good staff around him because he know what they look like. He know what he want. I want guys that grinded like I grinded, coming up and getting where I am. And then most of the time, because when you come up underneath them trees, and this is in every organization, and when I say a tree, who all coached under me, championship coach? Who all coached under Hayes? Coached under Trey Oliver, Chennis Berry, now Tremaine Jackson. All those guys got some sprinkle of, they know what to do when they get in there. They're not in there trying to find the restroom. They're not in there trying to say, now what should I work on next? Or in there asking the guy who they hired, what should I be doing next? They already know, Coach. And those coaches come in and win, and they win quickly. You know what I mean? They don't necessarily have to win a championship, but they win quickly. And most of all, for the fans, they put a good product on the football field.
Well, Coach, I tell you what, I'm super excited. I think, you know, this is another great interview. But, Coach, I'm going to, you know, there was something else that happened today too, Coach, that we're going to have to talk about.
Yeah.
And let me just kind of share this screen, Coach, because there was something that happened down at Florida A&M University that I think we might need to take a look at, Coach.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's something happening in a lot of places, Coach, and they ain't necessarily good. So we got a little time, and we'll make sure that, you know, we let our folks know.
Now, Coach, hey, Florida A&M has just hired their 20th head coach, Coach Quinn Gray, former Rattler great, conference champion at the SIAC at Albany State. Coach, he takes over, and now the Rattler faithful is super excited. Coach, I wanted to ask you a question, and I wanted to talk about something that, you know, one of the biggest things when people are talking about his contract, Coach, he's got a 5-year contract, $1.4 million. he's got a $1.2 million salary pool for coaches, where he's going to be able to hire 10 full-time coaches, have graduate assistants, also analysts and things like that. Coach, how important is it for him to have that security of the 5 year, and also to have the amount of money, which dwarfs Southern by a couple of 100,000, because they had 950,000. We're at 1.2. How does that work when you're talking about putting the staff together, and how's that going to really help him, having the years of 5 years and having that amount of money to make a staff?
Well, I mean, it takes some pressure off of his honeymoon year. What I mean by that, off of his first year, meaning everybody is invested in. You know what I mean? I feel they got the right guy in Coach Ken Gray, graduate quarterback, proved that he's a proven winner on the field as a player, off the field. Now he's taking over a job at Albany State, has won a championship. I think he's proved that. I think now Florida A&M is making a commitment. The only, if I had a question about it, is hopefully him and the athletic director is being to, get married and make sure they have a great relationship. I think it's important that you have a complete coaching staff. And not only is he having a complete coaching staff, he's not having a complete coaching staff that every year he ain't going to be losing a coach to his peers, because he's going to be able to match some of the monies that they make. I think that's very, very important. Hopefully he puts some money into a secretary, because when he put this team together with $1.2 million, all of them got to be able to say, Queen Gray is our boss, and that's how we move. We move all in one motion. So I think it's great. I think it's great for Florida A&M. Again, the only question mark I have is when this new AD come in. We talked about that 2 weeks ago. Hopefully everything in line. And with him being able to have that kind of money and hire those coaches, everything got to be in line with the head coach's dream, head coach's philosophy, what the head coach want to do. So I think he's off to a roaring start. I know for a fact he's guaranteed 3 out of the 5. You know what I mean? If he starts out slow, but I just don't see that. I see him being very, very competitive.
Coach, I tell you, one of the things that I found interesting is that when I saw the contract and I saw the years and I saw them out, and one of the words I like to use is value. Florida A&M is getting great value in this contract. And also, to your point, Coach, when you're talking about alignment, I did a watch party. They did the contract went before the Board of Trustees. Angela Suggs was there to present along with President Marvin Johnson. And, Coach, I was looking forward to be on there for an hour and a half. Somebody, the second and third, you know how they have to do it, the second and the third and the fourth and the fifth in this, Coach. Coach, we were on there. The meeting went for 10 minutes, Coach. And what I say is because the president knew who was the best person for the job. Special Assistant Suggs worked with the president to identify all the various candidates. And then from there on, it looks like they had a great conversation with Quinn about contract, how he will feel comfortable about what he's getting paid, how we could make him successful. Coach, I'll tell you another thing, too. They've got money for 65 scholarships for summer school. What do you think about it? Coach, talk about that, because this is HBCU Coaches Corner. So they're going to be able to fund 65 players to go to summer school. How important is that for kids to go to summer school, Coach?
Coach, that's man, look, that's just as good as getting players, Coach. That's where it starts. I believe in my philosophy that you win championships in the summer.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.